Hello friend, this is Naveed with you, and you are on my YouTube channel where people were thinking that the tensions and the escalation, I would say, between the United States of America and Canada was lowering down, was easing off. But today we have seen that the Trump administration have imposed a 25% tariff. Before it was on steel and aluminum, and now it is the major chunk of the trade, another major pillar of exports of Canada, the automobile sector. So this 25% tariff has been imposed by Trump administration as of today, and it is a very dangerous trend because we were thinking that situation is going to ease off. When you remember that the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, he imposed a similar tariff on the electricity, and he threatened some of the states, United States states, that he's gonna like shut down the electricity completely, which is being provided by the Canadians, the Ontario state of Canada. So then he went there and they had a meeting with the US administration, and everyone was like that things are now normalizing, and Trump also paused the tariffs for a while. But this is a very dangerous trend which we are seeing in these recent times. And you know that there is a federal election coming on in Canada, and the Liberal Party candidate Mark Carney, who is an economist, also he is trying his best to de-escalate the tensions between United States of America. I would say it's not a personal thing anymore right now. If you see the sentiments in Canada and the sentiments in America, it is not more like a Trump imposed tariffs. Now everyone is in US is almost owning these things, and back in Canada, if you see, people in Canada are also owning this war, and they are like boycotting the American products. Some of the stores, the liquor stores, they boycotted first, and now the trend is on a widespread that the Canadians, they are rejecting the American products in their supermarket, and they are doing it like voluntarily. So it's no longer, you can say, an issue of Trump imposing it. It is more like now becoming a Canada and America thing. And if you would see, the elections are coming next month in Canada. So the top three candidates, the Liberal Party, if you see their manifestos and their slogans, they are not the slogans which are like showing weaknesses. The slogans are like fight back, and we will take back, and we will reply to Donald Trump in the language which he understands, which is like a trade war and all these things. If you see the Conservatives, they are talking about taking the northern rivers back. And as I told you in my last video, if you remember that the Alaska, the state of Alaska, which America purchased from Russia in 1800, and you have Canada in between Alaska and United States, so Seattle and Alaska, so you can say there is. So what United States was focusing, that this the state of British Columbia and Alberta, which is rich in oil and other energy resources, that they are pressurizing these two states, that they want to connect Alaska with the mainland United States. And who knows, I mean, this is happening because of their trade being starting with Russia. Because if on the other side of the story, I will a bit mix things, but they are all related to the current affairs, and they are correlated to each other. So you see that what is happening in Saudi Arabia, they arranged and they brokered a meeting between US and Russia, and everyone coming out of the meeting is saying that it was a very successful meeting, and they are praising the Saudi role in arranging this thing. So you can say that if Russia and America are somehow, I don't know, it's like, it's very weird to understand that they are coming together. The trade which is going to start is going to bypass the Suez, is going to bypass the Bab el-Mandeb, the Houthis and Yemen and Red Sea. So it might start from the Alaskan side. If it starts from Alaskan side, America want the western side of Canada to be taken or to be pacified, so they can open this Alaskan channel. And you know that they have already announced opening the gas fields and the oil fields in Alaska. Many people do not know this thing, that the oil which Canada extracts, it is high in salt. So the refineries in Canada, they are not capable of refining them. So all this oil goes into US, and then it comes back to Canada because the refineries are there in US. So there is a lot of things on the stake, and I'll be very honest with you. United States is having almost 27, 28 trillion GDP market, so they are way bigger than Canada. Canada is having a 3 trillion, 3.4, 3.3 trillion GDP market. So there is no actually comparison between United States and Canada economic wise, and there is no actually comparison between United States and Canada, population-wise, economic-wise, anything-wise, United States is far bigger than Canada. So what is happening that, like, you see the inflation in 2022 was on the record high in Canada, 6.8. Then in 2023 it went down to 3.9. So people were thinking things are improving. United States was supporting them. Most of their exports, like almost $1 trillion, you can say, exports, they were 90% going to United States of America. So who was their buyer? Who is their buyer? Actually, you can say is United States of America. And United States of America is your biggest customer. If you go on the second customer like China or India or Mexico, and you see the gap between position 1 and position 2, it is too big. 500 billion and the other guy is like 30-40 billion. So there is no comparison. So United States is having the major stake of Canada. There is no doubt on that, and no one should have any confusion on this. If you go see the figures, you will see it easily. You can notice is that this is United States is a key player of Canada exports and Canada's economy. So now when they are going back into the car tariff, which we have seen right now, that 25% of the cars, and if you can imagine that Canada is making around 1.9 million cars, which is a mix and match between the Japanese cars and the American cars. These two cars, majorly their plants are in Canada. So there are people who are employed in Canada. They were employed in the aluminum side, steel side, where all the exports are going to United States. Now we see the car industry. So all the employment over there, due to the plants being in Canada, they are going into, who is buying that? United States is buying that. And if you see the cars division of these 1.9 million cars which Canada makes in an year, almost, it can be plus minus, I'm not exactly remembering the figure. So these cars are going where? These cars, 90% are being bought by Americans. These cars are being sold into America. So this is the biggest issue now, crisis. I mean, raw material, steel and aluminum, yes, that was also purchased by America, but like end product, now they are coming into end product. So when you are coming into end product, this is something really disturbing, and this is something which is going to affect the Canadians, can affect to the Canadians very badly. I mean, because you see that 1.9 million cars, let's say 1.7 million cars are being bought by America. And companies who are making their cars over here, there is GM Motors, there is this Chevrolet, Chrysler. Which car Canada makes the most are the Japanese car, RAV4 and other Toyota vehicles, Lexus vehicle. And you will be surprised again to know this fact that these Japanese cars, I mean, only 10 to 12% of total 1.9, only 12 to 13% of total 1.9 million cars Canada makes are being used inside Canada. So 90% of the car, 1.8, let's say, or 1.7, let's say, cars are being exported, and where? They are exported into United States of America. Now, United States of America put 25% tariff on them, that whatever car you are sending to America, the government is going to impose 25% tariff on them. So when you impose a 25% tariff on an end product, so that means the landing cost of that product will be 25% more. So once it's 25% more, of course, it's not going to be on a competitive price in that market. So people are not going to buy that. People are going to buy something which is cheaper. So this is going to affect the production over there. You might need to cut down production. When you cut down production, of course, you don't need those. When you cut down production, you don't need so many employees. So you cut down on employees. So all these things, if you have two factories, one has to close. Very, 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 very disturbing situation. Honestly, on the brink of elections. Very, very disturbing situation, honestly, on the brink of election. And I don't know how they are planning to cope with it, because these cars are going to America. Even the Japanese cars, the Japanese plants, those cars are going to America. Yes. So if another thing you see, I will tell you that most of the exports, 50% of the export of Canada are being through land. Through land to where? Land not to Japan or India, land to US. So you are totally dependent on United States of America, and this friend of yours is now turning against you. It is a very, very dangerous situation. I don't know what's going to happen into United States, because I know very well that United States right now currently is not capable to cope up with the deficit which is coming from already existing steel and aluminum productions, because when you put tariff on Canada, you have to make that steel. You need that steel. You need that aluminum. From where you gonna get that? And now, if you are also targeting the end product, because this steel and aluminum was not being used in the end product, because the end product you were already importing it. So first of all, you will have a deficit of aluminum and steel minus the end product things which you were importing, and now a deficit of those end products, those cars. So you need that mean that it's multiplied by 4 times the deficit. I don't know how United States of America plans to take care of this deficit. So they are going to be damaged also. Of course, tariffs coming in, the consumer is going to have a higher price. The other people, if it's 25%, they will also increase their prices to 5-10%. So end of the day, it is the US consumer who will also be badly hurt. It will be the US economy who will also be badly hurt, and primarily you can say, and most importantly, it will be Canada whose economy will be badly hurt. So I again suggest to both parties that they must resolve this thing. Do not escalate it. Do not use it in the election slogan. I can tell you that I saw a few days back, there was a show, I think in Ontario or something, and Tesla was banned there. I mean, you don't need to do these provoking steps. They banned Tesla, and now we have a 20% tariff on the whole car industry. So I suggest that both parties have to resolve this in a brotherly way. It is going to damage both economies. It is going to damage both people. It is going to damage both consumers. I hope sense prevails and they sort out their differences in a proper manner, not like the way it is being done.